If you're interested in applying to our program here at FIEA, you're going to need to submit a portfolio for review. So one of the first things you're going to need to do is choose a portfolio review date. In our admission cycle, there are 4 dates available to choose from. They typically fall evenly spaced throughout the year, so take a look at the dates below and choose the one that will work best for you. Here's a few things to keep in mind. First of all, we only accept around 60 students to start here every fall, so things can get a little competitive. I encourage you to submit to the earliest review that's available to you. Secondly, you don't have to be here in person for these reviews. All you need to do is submit your portfolio to admissions, I'll take it in to be reviewed by the track directors, and then I'll get back to you letting you know where you stand. Now, in order to have your portfolio reviewed, there's a few things you're going to need to do. The first, as I mentioned earlier, is to send your portfolio to admissions here at FIEA. Secondly, have your application submitted through UCF's Graduate Studies website. And finally, make sure you've submitted your undergraduate transcripts to UCF's Graduate Studies office. FIEA is a graduate program for the University of Central Florida. So when completing your application, you'll need to go to UCF's Graduate Studies website. Here's some information you'll need to help you fill out your application. First, FIEA offers a Master's of Science in Interactive Entertainment. So this is the degree you'll need to select when completing your app. Secondly, you don't need to specify a track on your application. Although you will be coming into FIEA as an artist, producer, or programmer, we'll actually break down those tracks within our program here, so go ahead and leave that section blank. You also don't need to upload any resumes, essays, or statements of intent with your application. You're going to be submitting a portfolio to us, and that portfolio will take the place of those things. And finally, when you completed your application and submitted it, email admissions to let us know. That way we can go ahead and start tracking your documents in UCF's system. The University of Central Florida requires that all incoming graduate students send in their official undergraduate transcripts as part of the admissions process. Now, some of you may be currently finishing up your undergrad degree. What you can do is have your university send an official copy of your in-progress transcripts at this point. Then, once you've graduated, you can request your university send an official copy of your final transcripts. All transcripts should be sent to UCF's Graduate Studies office. Something to keep in mind is that FIEA does like to see a 3.0 GPA or higher when making their admissions decisions. One of the most common questions I get asked is, what do I need to include in my portfolio? So instead of answering this question myself, I'm going to turn this over to the people who actually review your portfolios, the track directors. Let's see what they have to say.
When I'm looking at student materials, I look at 3 things. The GRE score, their GPA in their undergraduate computer science classes, and then their portfolio. So they'll send me in a portfolio. It'll have sometimes wide-ranging code samples and sometimes 1 or 2, either which is fine. I look for C and C++ code primarily, a knowledge of demonstrating a knowledge of things like data structures and just overall code architecture understanding and how to put together a project. I get some portfolios that'll have a lot of web programming work in it or Java work in it, and while fine, I don't really base many decisions on that work, and so I would recommend to the students to just submit their best C and C++ work, even if they have more of the other types. I would stick to the C and C++. Probably the most successful candidates take their class projects from undergraduate computer science, save them, and then circle back and do a comment pass on them, and then zip them up and send them to me. Normally it's between 3 and 6 projects. A lot of times they'll have to do with graphics, maybe some simple games and things like that, but demonstrating a knowledge of how to put the code together.
Okay, well, first and foremost, we're looking for somebody who's got just raw artistic skills and technical skills. I think to convey your ability as an artist, I think the easiest way to do that is through drawing. Drawing is going to represent your ability to translate observation and what you see into recognizable form and detail. Also showing confident line work in your drawings, it's just going to show that you've spent the time to learn the skill. It's going to show your dedication to art and craftsmanship. I think it's also the quickest way to conceive and communicate creative ideas, and along the lines of drawing, I think figure drawing is probably going to help like nothing else to really be able to show your understanding of form. And we've admitted people in the past with just their abilities to do figure drawing. Sculpture would also be a good traditional skill to have. Also, the advancements in digital sculpting tools would be really great. There's a lot you can show with your abilities there. Obviously, animation would be a big one. Again, the computer there is probably a great medium for showing your animation, and then any traditional animation skills you have would also be a big plus. So like I was saying, 2D and 3D computer skills are definitely relevant. You'd want to show whatever computer skills you had. The whole key, though, what we're really looking for in our students is your very best artwork.
So what makes a good producer? Well, at the end of the day, producer is not what people think. A lot of people think it's a particular set of skills, like you're good at scripting or you're good at game design, super creative person. Those are nice things to have, but there's lots of different kinds of producers. There's managing producers, there's game designers and level designers and scripters and organizers and things like that. There are some common traits that they should all share, and those are the things that I look for in any general producer. One of the first things that I want to see in a good producer is a sense of initiative. People who don't need to be told what to do, they don't need to be led by the hand through a series of complex tasks. They can navigate those things themselves. That's the kind of like the utility infielder that you really want to have on your team. That's a person who, they don't mind if they have to take on the not so exciting kind of grunt work. They can stand in when they need to do scheduling, or they need to do this or that. It's somebody who will recognize when there's a gap in the process and fill it in. That's probably the number one personality trait that I like to see in a producer. Beyond that, I think if you have the ability to communicate well, if you can talk to people, if you're diplomatic, if you're mature, those are general things that, even though it sounds kind of a little bit trite, that's what's important to being a producer. That's why, as part of the process, I have to actually talk to all the production candidates before we allow them into FIEA, because you can't get a feel for that in a piece of paper or a project that they build. I need to talk to them on the phone or in person. One way or another, since personality is such a big part of being a producer, I've got to assess that before I can let them into the program.
For an in-state student, the tuition price is set at $33,000. For an out-of-state or international student, the tuition price is set at $55,000. Now, this tuition price covers the entirety of the 16-month program and also includes your books, materials, a laptop that's yours to keep once you graduate the program, and any lab fees that may come along. Now, keep in mind, students may be occasionally required to purchase supplemental course materials. Financial aid is available to FIEA students, and the first thing you will need to do is fill out a FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid. The FAFSA tells you what you're eligible for in governmental or Stafford loans. If you're an in-state student, these Stafford loans should cover the majority of your tuition. If you're an out-of-state student, or if you need some extra money for living expenses while you're in school, you can apply for a Grad Plus loan, which is a credit-based loan that's available for students. So between these two loans, you should have enough money to cover your tuition and any living expenses that you have while here at FIEA. FIEA also offers a partial tuition waiver for students that have been accepted into the program. So once you've gone through a portfolio review and you've received your official acceptance letter from UCF, you can go ahead and apply for this tuition waiver. These waivers are given out to students on an individual case-by-case basis, and we look at both the need and the merit of the students. If you would like more information on FIEA's partial tuition waivers, please feel free to email admissions and we'll be happy to send you out a document with the information. As part of your admissions process, FIEA requires that all incoming students take the GRE and submit your scores to UCF's Graduate Studies Office. Now, for programmers, you'll need to have those scores submitted before your portfolio is reviewed. For artists and producers, you have a little more time. You just need to have those scores into us before you would start classes here. To register for the GRE, you'll need to go to the ETS testing website and choose a location nearest to you. FIEA FIEA no longer requires letters of recommendation or PPI reports. Instead, we're asking that you submit 3 references' contact information who will be willing to vouch for your academic and personal achievements. Now, when you submit your portfolio for review, please include a document or email admissions with your references' information. Remember to include their name, email address, phone number, and their relationship to you.